So those of you that have not seen any previous videos, this car is sitting on AST ALS kit, so adjustable lowering springs kit. It's on 12.5mm spacers front and rear. So the B-roll you just saw is that setup. That's what I'm currently riding on. The overall stance of the car looks really good with this AST kit. There's a lot of springs on the market. A lot of really good companies make quality springs. One of the reasons I went with AST is because a couple main reasons that we all look at, right? Price point was right in the range. It was about mid-range price point, really good quality. And then the adjustable lowering springs, I liked the way that AST has that set up. And there are other companies that do adjustable springs on the market. AST isn't the only one that offers that for the G8X platform, but I followed AST and Moton for a while. I like the products, the history, the quality they make. So that was a big reason why I went with AST versus another one. So far, the ride quality, I mean, it's with any lowering suspension, generally the springs are going to be a little bit different. I mean, nothing's going to be OEM. Most things OEM are going to be a little plush anyways, but OEM quality. Another reason why I went with the ALS kit versus standard springs, right? So you get the benefit of having your car lowered, better stance, but you also get the benefit of the adjustability to where with a standard spring, it's going to be right in the mid-range of what most people want, but that specific spot may not be what you like. And in my case, it wasn't. So I kind of wanted to have the adjustability to be able to raise or lower the suspension where I wanted it. And for me, on this car, I wanted the car to sit just above the tires to where I could fit almost a finger, maybe a little bit less, between the fender and the tire, front and rear. That gives it a clean look. I don't want a slammed look on the car. That's not what I'm going for. OEM Plus is my build. That's what you guys know if you follow my videos. And functionality is important, right? I wanted to kill the wheel gap and make it look better, but I also wanted to have functionality. So if my wheels can't turn with the car lowered, that's stupid. And I wanted to be able to have the ability to drive around functionally, even though your car will scrub. So speaking of scraping, when you lower a car, you increase the risk of that, obviously. With this kit, like I said, fitment, I don't know the exact millimeters of how much the car was lowered. I will figure that out and get back to you guys. I didn't take that measurement. But with the fenders sitting right above the tires, I do have an in-performance front splitter. It looks really good. It's not the most aggressive one, so it's a three-piece. So the front section doesn't stick out super far. So anytime I come up to a bump or a raise in the road or a hill, I don't have too much problem scraping. It really hasn't happened. Believe it or not, I've scraped twice, I think, since it was lowered in the past month. And it was actually underneath the car, going over speed humps, they call it. So you have like the little speed bumps, but then the huge mounded speed humps. And I even went in an angle, did everything I could, but I couldn't get over enough, and I went slow and I heard it scrape. But cool thing is that my Turner Motorsport skid plate took the brunt of that. So that's awesome, because the whole point of me installing that was for that reason, so I don't damage the oil cooler or control arms or something that's pretty crucial to the car. So that's awesome. Gives me peace of mind. And as much as you don't want to ever hear any kind of a scrape noise or something of that nature, the fact that the part that I installed is for that reason, to protect the car, hey, I'll take it. It did its job. So super happy about that part. The other reason why I went with the ALS kit is because you are able to maintain factory EDC compatibility, right? So electronic damper control. Other manufacturers may call it something different, but basically the dampers on your suspension's electronically controlled. So you have like Sport Plus efficient in BMW. Other manufacturers may call it something different, but basically soft ride, stiff ride, depending on what kind of driving you're doing, right? Faster, high-speed cornering track use is going to stiffen the suspension a lot more to keep that roll at a minimum, where if you're just cruising to town, you want something a little more comfortable. So maintaining that compatibility is nice to have. So the factory buttons of Comfort, Sport Plus in the car still work, but I also get the benefit of the car being lowered. You could argue that the ALS kit is like a hybrid between standard springs and a coilover. Coilovers are very complex. There's a lot of adjustability you can do, rebound, compression, dampening, etc. But you get just the benefit of adjusting the height, which is awesome. So it's kind of a hybrid system, which I like. Should I ever want to raise the car, maybe I change things up a little bit, start carrying more people around, maybe I move to an area. Listen, I live in Florida, it's very flat, so I don't have a lot of hills, right? But maybe I move to an area where I have to drive over a bunch of hills and bumps and angles, and the car just keeps scraping, and I wanted to raise it another couple millimeters to minimize that. Well, I can do that. I don't have to go buy another set of springs to do that. So, but I also didn't fork out $6,000 on a coilover system. Not that coilovers are bad, they're awesome, but if you don't need that, but you want to have your car lowered and want to have some adjustability besides just regular springs, this ALS kit is pretty dope, and it gives you that ability. So I've had the car for a few weeks now. I like to, as most of you know, I like to have a setup, whatever, for a little while so I can live with it. So I have kind of a real life opinion of what I think about it. Overall ride quality, I mean, 10 out of 10. I mean, there's no issues. Is it a little bit lower and a little bit stiffer than OEM? Yeah, it's lowering springs, but there's no squeaks, nothing's rubbing, scrubbing, none of that. So build quality, fitment, 10 out of 10. EDC compatibility, 10 out of 10. That is important to me. Some people don't care, I care. So overall, super happy with the product. Also, it's red. Side note, AST springs are red and my calipers are red. So that is a cool little additional feature that kind of blends nicely up under the wheel well. Unfortunately, you can't see it. Car's low, car's low now, so you really can't see that, but it is red and it does pretty closely match the calipers, which, hey, details matter, which I always say, and that's pretty cool. So another point to AST for that. So overall, having this car with the AST suspension on it for a few weeks now, I would say 100% it is worth it. If you're looking for springs that are quality, that fit amazing, and that have adjustability, I think this is something you could consider. I definitely searched around for a lot of the products, and there are other good ones out there, but at the end of the day, this one checked all the boxes for me. AST's got great products and a long heritage of making excellent stuff with a racing background. So I've always liked their products, and this one is no different. Car looks great, handles great, fits great, got the red touch, matches the caliper, so extra bonus point for my car specifically. But yeah, overall, is it worth it? I think 100%. I would definitely buy this again, definitely recommend it. Also guys, shout out to PSI here in Central Florida for getting this installed for me. Those guys are awesome. As you can tell, I didn't do this install myself. Most of the installs I will do myself on this car and most cars that I have, but don't have a spring compressor, and with everything with the holidays, I just didn't have time. I'm local to Central Florida. Those guys are right down the street, so they did it for me, and of course did an excellent job. So shout out to those guys. They always do good work, so thank you. So that's it guys, thanks so much. Exhaust video coming up next. I got the PSI mid pipe installed, so that will be coming up next with the next progression. If you guys know, I'm doing a progression series of the exhaust for my car, from stock all the way to where it is now and continuing on. So mid pipe is up next, so that video will be dropping soon. Thank you as always, and catch you guys on the next one. See ya.